It's time for this week's episode of Brandon's Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon's Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon's Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Asheville Tourists Assistant General Manager, Hannah Martin. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Brandon. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to work in professional sports?
Sure. I think I have a story kind of similar to a lot of students when they're first entering college or going through that process of deciding what they want to study. I played sports growing up. I played basketball since I was in second grade and all throughout high school, cross country, track. So just very involved in sports. And when it came time to decide what to study, I couldn't necessarily see my future or my career without it. So I decided to study sports management in school. And that is truly where I learned everything that went into it, because I think when I decided to study it, I was pretty naive. I don't think I knew a lot of the back end operations or all of the moving parts of it. But really just because I played sports and I had that interest level, I decided to continue on.
What was it like getting your first start in professional sports?
Yeah, so I did my first internship with the USL team, the Harrisburg City Islanders, and that was while I was still in school. I needed some credits to graduate. That was like my first eye-opening experience. Like I said, to all of those moving parts that go into putting on one event. That was my first experience in sponsorship activation or marketing or groups. In high school, I had no idea of all of those things that needed to happen for one game to come together.
What was that like working in the marketing area as an assistant for them?
Yeah, it was really cool because it gave me the option to do a couple different things. I was trying to organize and plan group nights, or I was getting to go on community appearances. I remember one specifically where we took their mascot to like the local mall. And so I was getting to interact with the public and, do a little bit of the social media side of things. So the marketing realm was, I think, a really good start for me because it still let me see and experience a little bit of all of those different aspects. So,
How was that like, obviously, working in the social media area with the Islanders?
well, and I don't want to date myself, but that was back in 2014. So we're going on 8 years ago. And at that point, social media was not what it was or what it is today. So it was definitely cool. We were focused a lot on your Twitter posts and graphics. Instagram was not a thing at that point, so I didn't have to focus on that one. So it was mainly Facebook and Twitter. And we're just kind of really focused on growing their follower base. You had in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, you had the Senators, the minor league baseball team, playing at the facility right next to where the City Islanders play. So you have baseball and then you have soccer. So we were just really trying to increase the awareness, I think, and the followers.
Of course, with you saying that y'all were in Pittsburgh, and with Pittsburgh being such a pro sports city, what was that like, obviously, working in a pro sports city?
So actually we were in Harrisburg, which is a little bit outside. It's still a little bit away from Pittsburgh. It kind of splits maybe the two, Pittsburgh and Philly. So you're kind of dead center. And as far as pro sports, they have a minor league baseball team in Harrisburg. And then just a little bit up the road, they have a minor league hockey team as well. So I would say the area that I was in was more so minor league focused than pro.
What was that like coming to Asheville Tourists?
Yeah, it was really good when I first got here. So I continued on after completing my undergraduate degree, and I went to West Virginia University to get my master's. So again, needed an internship to finish up coursework there. Ended up interning here with the tourists, and let me tell you, it was a great year to be an intern here because we got to host the League All-Star game. So I got to play a big part in that. That was really fun. And then it was also the 100th year anniversary. So it was just so cool to see all of the excitement around those two really monumental events in the tourist history. So it was a lot of fun that year to intern, made some great connections, and obviously it paid off long term for me now.
What was that like, obviously working in the communications relations department?
Yeah. A lot of the things that I was doing as the community relations internship here in Asheville were pretty similar to what I did in Harrisburg as well. One thing was we were really playing a key part in the on-field promotions. So I'll be honest, that kind of put me outside of my comfort zone. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily the person who wants to be dancing on the dugout or doing all of the on-field games. But that was some of our roles when I was here doing the internship. And so I think it was really key though to have to do those just to get me outside of my comfort zone and say, all right, look, there's things that I probably don't want to do, but I have to do them to put on, again, that whole experience for a fan. So it was good.
What is it like, obviously, learning about the marketing side of merchandise sales?
Yeah, I really enjoy the merchandise side of things. And even now when our merchandise manager, maybe super busy or isn't able to come into the office for a day, I will still help out if I'm needed. And a lot of that is really just kind of tracking the orders as they come in, shipping them out. One thing that I'll say was really cool to see was when we first announced our affiliation with Houston. All of the orders that came flooding in that were getting shipped to Texas. It was super cool to see that and just see how people in the Astros organization really back the affiliates of the team, it seems, because we had stacks and stacks of hat boxes just being shipped out to Houston. So it's really cool to see the data behind that. And really just kind of see what people are buying. If there's one hat that's selling more than others, and then chances are we'll reorder it for the next season, or if we maybe need to tweak designs or artwork. So it's really cool. Our merchandise manager, she will always come around and she'll hold up like 2 pieces of paper with designs on them. And she'll say, all right, this one or this one, and we'll just do staff votes on it. So it almost makes you feel like, you're playing a part in what people are buying. So it's pretty cool.
Was that like, obviously, as you said, that with Houston Astros being your affiliate, you see, obviously, not just in the Asheville area and the North Carolina area, your logo, but even like in Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've just gotten some really good following from it. I think maybe we've been put on the map for a couple people that may not have known of the Asheville Tourists. So I think it's helped us in that regards. It was pretty cool there. We got to go to some games of the World Series this year. So that was really awesome too. Got to go out to Houston for games 1 and 2, myself and a couple other staff members. And to see the Astros fan base was just so cool. They were very nice, very into the Astros, and it was just really cool to feel a part of that.
What was that like, obviously, going to the World Series as a minor league person working in minor leagues for a major league affiliate?
Yeah, I mean, once in a lifetime opportunity, that's for sure. I was actually at home in Pennsylvania. That's where I'm from. I was at home in Pennsylvania the day I was driving back to North Carolina, and I get a call from my boss, and he says, "We got tickets. Do you want to go to the World Series tomorrow?" And as I'm driving in my car, I'm like, "Yes, what do you need me to do? How can I book a flight? I'm driving. I can't book a flight." So someone was able to kind of take care of that for me. But it was like no matter what, I was going to drop what I was doing and plan to go. So
What was that like, obviously, going to the World Series, but also having that ability to learn on the major league level what it takes to obviously run the major league to bring back down to the minor leagues?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, just the setup work and the back end work that goes into an event like that. But I think we were able to take some pieces of information and figure out how we could apply that here, whether it be on our digital ticketing side of things, whether it be some cool ideas for a new concession stand, even, seeing that and then being able to bring it back here and implement those changes for the 2022 season. It's really exciting. Hopefully everything plays out as we want it to.
How was it like when you were announced as the assistant general manager?
Yeah, it was my boss and I had kind of been in talks earlier in the season just about what a future would look like for me with this company. I know you got to interview Sam, the former assistant general manager. And so, at that point, we were kind of seeing how I could still learn and grow and progress in the company, basically with the both of us there. When she ended up kind of moving on and taking a new opportunity, it was really exciting to feel like they trusted me in this next step for this role. It's a big role and it's a lot of shoes to fill. It's big shoes to fill with Sam when she moved on, but I'm extremely excited and very willing to learn. I think that's one of the most important things is just they know that I'm willing to learn. So
What was that like, obviously, as you said, filling Sam Fisher's shoes?
yeah, I've had the pleasure of working with Sam since I was an intern. She was here when I started. And so my whole career, Sam and I were working together, and to the point where a lot of fans get us confused sometimes. We both have dark hair, we're roughly the same height. And so it got to the point where if people call me Sam or if people call her Hannah, we just went with it half the time and just figured out what they needed. But she's been a great mentor for me. And even after the fact, she's in her new role with the Titans. But I know that she's still a point of contact if I ever need anything or need to pick someone's brain. She's been a really great leader here. So,
What are some of your future plans as the assistant general manager?
yeah. My one of the things that I'm still very involved in, even in the AGM role, is our ticketing. I previously held the director of ticket operations position, and so ticketing and sales is kind of what I know and where the bulk of my experience lies. So one thing that I'm still heavily involved in and still planning to do is really expand our digital side of ticketing. Everything has pretty much gone digital in the past 2 years. And so we've been trying to still stay true to our market, I think, but also update our digital side of things and have capabilities like texting tickets from the box office instead of having to print them and then someone can scan their phone at the gate. Email forwarding tickets, digital voucher codes. So a lot of my plans right now really heavily rely on our digital ticketing side of things. So that will be a process.
What is a typical day in the life as an assistant general manager?
Really, it is it's a lot of different things. Obviously, as the season approaches, it's extremely busy, but it's busy with so many different tasks. For example, we have box office training tonight. So helping our new box office manager prep his training materials, getting employees onboarded and making sure we have the paperwork they need, still selling groups. I'm still selling season ticket packages and group packages and corporate events and sponsorships. So really kind of maintaining my sales side and details of those things. Overseeing our group sales department, so helping them out with their process. So it's a lot of different parts to it, and no day is the same. Everything is changing constantly, it seems. So you can never get bored.
Who are some of the teams that you compete against on the Asheville Tours?
Yeah. So with the new league that we started in last year, we play some teams that we've played in the South Atlantic League before, and then some new teams. So some new ones were the Winston-Salem Dash, Brooklyn Cyclones, Hudson Valley Renegades, Rome Braves, Greensboro. So yeah, we've had a good mix of teams that we're familiar with and then brand new teams as well. So
Was that like obviously getting to play some of those teams like Winston-Salem Dash?
it's pretty cool because it's another North Carolina team. So I like the fact that we've added another team right here in North Carolina. And in the fall, we actually got to go down to Winston-Salem's ballpark, see their layout, see how they operate. So that was cool too, because not only do we have new players and new teams on the field, but it's a new front office staff that I get to make connections with and network and pick their brain about too. So it's good on both sides.
Of course, as you talked about making connections with other teams, what is that like? Obviously, not just obviously when you play the game, but also throughout the season, making connections with other teams such as the Winston-Salem Dash.
Yeah, it's really nice because the minor league baseball season can be hard for front offices. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of hours, but it's also, if you ever have a question or you want to know how another team operates or what they might do in a certain situation, most times people are always willing to help you out and just sit down and answer questions with you, because really you're all kind of in this together as minor league teams. So it's really neat to just make those connections throughout the league.
Of course, as assistant general manager, what is it like obviously balancing work life, but then also family life outside of obviously Asheville Tours?
Yeah, it's hard sometimes. Like I said, I think before we got started, when you and I were talking, you have to kind of get to that point where you can turn your brain off for a little bit and step away, even if it's for a couple hours. You work hard and you make sure everything that needs to get done is done. But then it's important to just find an outlet. I like reading. If I can just pick up a book and read for like an hour, then I can come back and answer some emails. So it is a balance, like you said. And I think it's an art, and you have to really kind of learn how to do it in a way. I think when I first started, I was all work all the time until I realized that it wasn't necessarily the best approach. So balancing that has definitely become more of a priority for me, I think.
What is something that you learn now that you didn't know before working in minor league baseball?
So much. I would say, again, since kind of ticketing and sales has been what the bulk of my experience is in, I had no clue basically how to build out or what it meant to build out an event for sale. So, for example, kind of placing seats on hold that you can't sell to the public, or making sure your pricing is correct, making sure your discounts are applying correctly, making sure your confirmation emails that people get when they order online are all set up. To just have one person purchase, there's so many different steps that you need to double check and triple check so that everything goes off seamless.
What advice would you give people looking to work in professional sports?
One thing that I have been kind of saying to college students as I've been interviewing them is I think that sometimes we get caught up in having that dream job, kind of right out of college. But chances are in sports, you might not step right into that dream job. And so one thing that I try to always encourage people to do is go outside of their comfort zone and have a starting point. Because if you're starting in a role, it's just that it's temporary, and it's going to lay the groundwork for you to build your skills, your professionalism, your knowledge, and then you can only go up from there. So I encourage people to have a starting point and grow their base level knowledge.
What advice would you give people like yourself that are looking to become assistant general managers or even general managers in the up high level?
Yeah. Learn everything. I think one thing that I'm learning and that is rounding me out this year is different skills that I didn't experience before, like corporate sales, sponsorship sales, even website editing. I'm doing a little bit of that so that if ever Alyssa, who you talked to last week, if she isn't here, then I have enough base level knowledge that I can jump on the website, change a price that's listed on there wrong, change a date, a time, something like that. So really just trying to learn as much about the organization as possible so that you can become the go-to person.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Asheville Tourists at?
Yeah. So as far as the tourists go Tourists is our handle on Twitter. And then I think we're just Asheville Tourists on Instagram. So you can find them on there. I'm just under Hannah Martin. I'm sure that's a very common name, but if you go to the tourist pages, you should be able to find me on there as well.
Thank you again, Hannah Martin, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the Assistant General Manager for the Asheville Tourists.
Thanks so much, Brandon.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Hannah Martin, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.